Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Cross Circle, the official podcast for PlayStation Source. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley, joined by the other half of PlayStation Source, Kevin Diaz. Kevin, how you doing today?
What is up? I'm tired. I think you're tired too.
I'm tired.
It's been a long week. A good E3 at that. You know, that was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
You know,
Pretty satisfied overall.
yeah, for sure. There were a few games that were not talked about or shown at all that we thought were going to. I'm sure we'll probably hit that later on during this episode. But
Yeah, so
good E3.
yeah, I was satisfied with E3. There were some things I wanted to see that didn't show up, but that's not what today's about. Today, we're going to be talking about our favorite things we saw presented at E3 2018 across all of the conferences. So I don't know if there's a certain order you want to go through or if you're going to rank anything, but I just got 5 of mine listed out in just an order I want to talk about them in. I don't have them in a order or countdown or anything, so I don't know if
that's also me too. I don't have any of these ranked at all. These are just 5 that stood out to me the most, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure by the way we talk about what's on our list, you'll probably be able to tell what excited us the most, but yeah, so do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can do mine first, and then we'll go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can do
sure,
mine
sounds
first.
good.
Yeah.
So
So
what's
mine-
your first?
Mine pretty obvious. Last of Us 2, clearly. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation's E3 2018 press conference opened with Last of Us 2. And, while we can get to the whole, pacing of the conference and everything and how it wasn't the best, produced conference, if you will, or the best, was not really that smooth at all. A little bit bumpy in the beginning, but, the half of it was also, fine after we got past the Last of Us 2 stuff. But just talking about the actual trailer, right, for Last of Us 2. And it is I don't even know like how to even properly just explain how blown away I was by it, right? When it comes to terms of it's giving me, it like gave me answers to a lot of things I was wondering. At the same time, it's opening up different questions too. Like, for example, I forget the person's name, but it was the Asian gentleman that went out to talk to Ellie during the first half of the trailer or whatever. He mentions your old man. Clearly, that's Joel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We haven't seen Joel at all, so there's been a lot. Yeah,
And so the way he referred to him, it sounded like he's still alive. So that theory, like this is either early and that theory's true, or that theory's dead for now.
Well, what I'm going to make a video on later on the channel. Be sure to stick around for that. But it was confirmed that the church scene in the Last of Us 2 trailer is 4 years after Last of Us 1, right?
Solid.
It's 4 years. And then, but the gameplay segment is 5 years after. The gameplay segment is a year after the church scene. So for all we know,
a time jump.
Yeah, and they did confirm that the whole game is going to tell 2 different narrative, different, what am I trying to say? 2
Plot lines.
Yeah. Thank you. 2 different plot lines, and I'm assuming we have the church plot line and then the actual gameplay plot line, right? And so that still leads, could the first trailer that we saw from Last of Us 2, could that be from the 5th year timeline where Joel is actually dead, and then the one that is in the 4-year church timeline? Did I say that wrong? No, I'm good.
That was right.
The church timeline, could Joel still be alive? I don't know, but overall, it was gory, it was action packed, it was great. You can see that they definitely updated the different things that Ellie does in combat, how she reacts to certain things. Like, there was a time in the trailer where she was holding a gun to an enemy's face, and the gun was out of ammo, right? And so the enemies that were shooting at Ellie with bow and arrows shot an arrow at the body that she was using as like a bodyguard type of thing. And you can see Ellie like look at the body multiple times and being like, oh man, wait, like she's dead. So she like drops up, and like it's just little details like that, and her picking up the glass and throwing it at the enemy as she's sprinting towards the other building. Like it was insane. It was incredible. It was everything I could have wanted out of a Last of Us 2 showing was here. It was yeah.
Yeah, so if you listened to our podcast from last week about our predictions for E3, you know that going into E3, I wasn't super hyped up on The Last of Us Part 2. I'm still somewhere in the middle. I like what they showed a lot. It was definitely more Last of Us, which is great because I loved The Last of Us. From a technical perspective, everything was really impressive. Like you were saying, the animations of everything, super in-depth. I've never seen gameplay and cutscenes look that similar, which is really impressive.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm still not, like, losing my mind crazy for it. Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm definitely pleased to see that we're getting more Last of Us because that's what I loved in the first game.
Yeah, yeah. So for me personally, that was my favorite. Probably my favorite. My favorite showing. You know, obviously very biased. I love PlayStation. I love Last of Us. You know what I'm saying? But it was, oh man, so good. So good. So good. All right, what is yours, good sir? What do you got?
My first one that I want to talk about is something that was shown off at the Xbox conference, but the rumors over the past 8 months had this thing pegged as a dead set. This is showing up at PlayStation. This is showing up as an exclusive for PlayStation because of their relationship with Capcom, Street Fighter V, and that is for Devil May Cry 5. So I've never played a Devil May Cry game in my life. I've always heard interesting things. It sounds like a series I would like a lot. I just never had a chance to get into them. But that trailer at the Xbox conference sold me on that entire franchise. It looks so stylistic, so cool, so over the top, amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sold me so much that later this week I'm going to GameStop and I'm picking up the Devil May Cry trilogy so I can play through them.
And is that on PlayStation 4? Because I've also never played a DMC game. Okay.
Yeah.
So that might be add to my backlog after watching this.
Right. It's good too because the at least the first two only take about 6. I know 2 has a really bad reputation, but the first 2 take about 6.5 hours to complete for the story. So
right. So not that long. Yeah.
Right, and we only have 4 to catch up on because the Ninja Theory DMC is technically not canon, I guess. But yeah, everything in the Devil May Cry 5 trailer, from the way it was presented on a technical side of things, it looked really great. It's running in the Resident Evil engine, which was used for Resident Evil 7. It's also being used for the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I'm going to talk about later. But
right.
I'm just really impressed with the versatility of that engine, that they can do a first-person survival horror, well, not survival horror, but first-person game, and then do a third-person survival horror, well, I guess, again, just horror, and then a third-person action game with Devil May Cry. That's just really impressive.
Yeah, and I think also just speaking in terms of just the engine, right? I feel like that could be, how we look at the Frostbite engine. This insane engine that if your game is running on Frostbite, it's probably gonna look amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's gonna also it might build that reputation for that engine as well and everything. But overall, no, I thought it was great. Again, me, just like you, very unfamiliar with Devil May Cry as a series. Obviously, I know it existed, whatever, but I've just never played any of them. But it definitely looks like something that might be on my alley and everything. And I might actually pick up that, remaster collection that you said too. Yeah, I'm down. But another thing too that I just want to bring up as well is that I was reading a lot of people reacting to the trailer and everything, and a lot of people were saying also that some of the way they reprised these certain people within
the characters
Devil May Cry, they looked a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying that these it's not even that far of a time jump from understanding from the fourth one. You know what I'm saying? So it's not there's a big gap, but they are. I've heard rumors that not rumors, but murmurs a lot of people aren't really hot on how these characters look right now.
Yeah,
so I can't speak a lot to that, but
I just talking about it quickly. I read into a few things. I saw some people who were upset because of how similar it looked to DMC, the Ninja Theory version.
Right.
that was the one that almost got me to play the game. I really liked what I saw from DMC, the Ninja Theory version, and seeing some of the influences of that in this one really makes me excited, and that's why I'm planning on going into the series, just because of it looks like they're making improvements, and I think DMC made improvements to the formula, so it wasn't just a button masher like an old school God of War or something, you know?
Right.
Because it's sort of the same genre, like that, Bayonetta, God of War, they all fall into the action game.
Yeah, that same action hack and slash, third person. Yeah.
So, yeah, Devil May Cry sold me very hot on it for the visual style, the stylistic aspects, and killing demons in HD.
For sure.
So,
Also, big congrats, now that we're just talking about Ninja Theory. They got acquired by Xbox. Microsoft,
yeah,
shout out.
That's a good get.
Yep.
They're a good studio.
Yep, shout out. Very, very, very good seeing them up and being bought and everything. So my second game here it is one of my games that I thought was really cool looking as well, for the same reasons I think you like DMC, right? And there was this game that was shown also on the Xbox stage, I'm pretty certain. Let me double check. Yes, it was. Yeah. So this one was called Tunic, right? A lot of people were calling it a Fox Zelda knockoff, right? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were saying that. But what grabbed me was it just looked really cool. The art style was very, very refreshing. I like the color palette as well. It's not,
very
any of these. Yeah, exactly. Like it wasn't any of these, brown, mundane. Like I think a few games before that they showed Black Desert Online, and like it just looked like a typical shooter, brown grunges and stuff like that. But just seeing this Tunic, which is like a completely, not original, but it looks very unique from its predecessors, and its, peers. It just had the super cool art style that I liked. Color palette was cool. The soundtrack, even just from the trailer, I don't know if that's, music that's going to be in the game, but it seemed like it would be, because it seemed like it matched. That was amazing as well. I hope it comes to Switch. I don't know if it is, but I would love to play it on Switch overall. But that was a really, really highlight for the Xbox conference, at least for me personally, was definitely Tunic. It looked really, really, really cool to play, really fun.
Tunic looks good because I'm a big Zelda fan, and anytime I see a game that's like, oh, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know what we're talking about, right? You know what this game's inspired by. It always just like disinterests me. But Tunic looks, I think the visuals are really what are getting me interested in it, because in the same vein of that, there's a game called The Swords of Ditto. I think that came out pretty recently. Again, it's very much, it's very in the vein of Zelda, but the visual style looks so distinct and interesting that it makes me interested in trying to check it out. So yeah, Tunic is definitely something I want to keep my eye on. I remember they announced it at the PC Gaming Show last year, or they didn't announce it, but that was the first time I saw it.
And I'm looking at notes real quick. As far as I'm aware, it's looking like it's going to be just Xbox console exclusive. So that's a bit unfortunate. But cool Xbox and then really PC as well looks like it's a lock as well for this game. So
yeah, and I'm sure that's
just what I'm looking at least for me personally over here on this side of things. But
yeah, it's not like
I thought
it's
it was really cool.
Tunic
looked awesome to me. So
yeah, it's not like you're gonna need a super impressive computer to run it anyways. So I'm sure you'll still be able to play it.
So what is your next game that you got on your list?
My next game also was shown off first at the Xbox conference. It's a third-party game, though, traditionally a PlayStation franchise. One of my favorite games of all time is in this franchise, and that is Kingdom Hearts. So Kingdom Hearts in general is what I'm talking about right now, because we had two similar trailers with different story information in them, and then
don't forget it was on three conferences. It was Xbox, Square, and then PlayStation.
Yeah. So it was interesting though with the because Xbox and the Square trailers were right after each other in different days, and the Square one built on it in information. I'm not going to go into depth about it because probably half the people listening either don't care or don't know about all the terms or whatever about that story. So yeah, Kingdom Hearts at the Xbox conference, they showed off their Frozen World. They showed off the new types of drive forms you can have, for combat. They showed off a little bit of open world exploration, I guess, because that's one of the biggest things I feel like they've been pushing with this game is how big the environments are this time. And the biggest takeaway from the Xbox show was that a character that has been around for a while now, they premiered in Birth by Sleep, that was the PSP game, they got, their heart got corrupted. So I'm using like layman's terms here, so it's like people don't think I'm crazy saying stuff like Norded and Xehanort and all that stuff. But yeah, so a character we've all known for a long time is looks like they might be making a little bit of a turn. So that was the Xbox trailer. Next day at the Square Enix Press event, whatever that thing was, we got the same. It started out the same, but there was a turning point when the Utada theme song came in. We got different looks at the whole organization storyline and aspects of the game. We saw some more returning characters. They showed off a Ratatouille image sequence.
Oh, wait. Really?
Yeah, it was a different trailer, dude.
No, wait, because I remember seeing that, but I didn't remember any Ratatouille stuff. Okay, maybe I was writing notes or something like that. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so
maybe I just missed it.
It was right around when the turning point for the when the music kicked in, and then there was the weird no sound effects thing.
Yeah, that was weird too.
I know why they did it. They wanted to highlight the song because the song is always a big deal for Kingdom Hearts, but it was weird.
No, I mean like in the end half of all those
yeah, there was just dialogue.
Scenes and trailers. Yeah, was it because they were dubbing it for like a English audience? So like the normal trailer, obviously it's I believe Japanese. If I'm not
Japanese.
mistaken. Yeah, Japanese. Like is it like a regular trailer with the music and everything in the Japanese format, but with the States they had to localize the voiceovers ever, so they just that's what I thought maybe, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wanted to just show off because this was one of the first times we saw an extended version of this theme song.
Right.
So I guess that's probably why they wanted to do it. So in the Square Enix presentation trailer, there was some new looks at some things. We got a stinger at the end that showed off another 2 returning characters that we haven't seen yet. Teased them. It was the back of them looking out at a sunset, Axel and Kyrie. And then at the PlayStation conference, we got a brand new, completely different trailer. We got a new world, or actually it was a returning world. We're coming back to this one. Pirates of the Caribbean is coming back in Kingdom Hearts. It was surprising because it was Pirates of the Caribbean 3 is the story they're using for this one. So, interesting choice. It looked really good.
Right.
Like I was really surprised with how good it looks for Unreal Engine.
In the past, when they did that section of that franchise, did they always use the third movie, or did they use like a different one primarily, and they switched it up for this one, or?
So it's the Pirates World premiered in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's been a very long time since I played Kingdom Hearts 2.
Right.
But I think it was Black Pearl was the story.
Okay. Gotcha.
It might have been Dead Man's Chest. I don't remember, but I don't really remember Davy Jones. So I think it might have just been the first one.
Because this one's Dead Man's Chest, right? Is that what I'm getting at?
No, this is Outworld's End. They're doing 3.
My bad.
Yeah, so I guess they might have just skipped over 2 unless I'm forgetting that they did Dead Man's Chest.
Okay.
But yeah, visually, again, looks great. Very impressed with it. Huge environments to go through. Lots of variation in there. And last thing I want to say about Kingdom Hearts 3, that when we got the sequence of actual Kingdom Hearts characters storyline, not the Disney stuff, at the end they showed off Riku on the beach with the replicant Riku from Chain of Memories, which I called when they showed off that first trailer. That's all I want to say. So that's enough Kingdom Hearts talk for me, I guess, unless you want to say anything about it.
I mean, I literally know nothing about the franchise. So it was just cool to see all the Kingdom Hearts fans lose their minds over these trailers and everything, because I've seen a lot of reactions on YouTube and it's really funny. Not
Pirates
like in
of
like
the Caribbean, that made me lose my mind.
Yeah, not like in like a, oh, like, you know, you're lame, but in like a, oh, like that's cool. Like they're like getting, you know, it's like seems like everyone in the Kingdom Hearts community, you know, if there's one, you know, like they seem like they were pleased with what they got this year. So it was cool to see that, you know,
the culmination.
Everyone, yeah, the you know, so it looked cool overall. I don't know if I'll touch it to be 100%.
I don't
now
blame you.
if they if well, for number one, I'm not that interested, but in like the nicest way I can say, right? Number one,
Yeah.
The story I've heard is like ridiculous, and it is like incredibly hard to follow in the same vein as like Metal Gear, you know?
Yeah, it's
Like that's like another franchise too. Like them, it's mainly like those two where it's like I want a place to jump in where I'm gonna get, you know, the most, like, because I don't know, I just hate jumping like mid into a franchise.
Yeah, I understand
You know,
that. I
that's
think
the
there's
thing,
good jumping
yeah.
on points, and Kingdom Hearts is rough because there is so much, and you have to see all the progression and get to know these characters for their payoff, and like Wikipedia doesn't really cut it. I'm playing through the series again right now. I'm like a quarter of the way through 2. I did 1 in Chain of Memories already. And honestly, the story is not hard to follow. It's pretty like it
Really?
gets weird and crazy. It's just like it gets random and it gets like, oh, okay, you know, and like this is a lot of really made up stuff that's just all coming at me, but it's a story about a war and about spirits that take over other people and then they continue living on through them, and that's sort of how it works. Like it's pretty simple when you like lay it all out, but it's just became a meme, so
I guess maybe I mistook the story being like out there to being hard, or I mean being like hard to follow. I mean, so I think
that's fair.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mistook. But shout out to Kingdom Hearts, shout out, and they, you know, off of their 3 showings, they made it very clear the game is actually coming out hopefully
in 2019,
January 29th. Like I think they made it a point, very stern. Like it's not goofy where you said 2015. Like, you know, but you know, so shout out to Kingdom Hearts.
Good looking pro too, but that's the last thing I'll say.
Oh yeah, it did look good.
So what is your next game?
All right, Wolfenstein 2. We're gonna take a look at Bethesda's conference. I thought Bethesda's was, you know, pretty good. I thought it was kind of, for me, it was like middle of the road. It wasn't as like disappointing as like Square or like EA in some aspects. It wasn't as amazing as Ubisoft, I felt, or like Xbox or PlayStation, but it was kind of like somewhere in the middle of the pack. I felt it was a fine conference and everything. A lot of cool stuff shown. But the one that stuck out to me the most, other than honorable mentions like, you know, Rage 2, we got a sequel to Doom announced as well. Obviously, Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 76, you know. But the one that stuck out to me the most was Wolfenstein 2. Now, other than the news that Wolfenstein is getting a Switch port, I won't be playing it on Switch because why would you do that to yourself? But, you know, it's cool that they're getting it. But it was the Youngblood DLC that they announced, right? So this is branching off of Wolfenstein 2. It is at least the name of it is very similar to Old Blood back in the first one, which was before Wolfenstein 1. So this one is after Wolfenstein 2, so kind of like they're doing it in that type of vein where it's not always a, you know, what happens after or like in between these games. They're kind of exploring the timeline a lot. And this one, they're exploring it quite a bit. Wait, what?
Is it the 70s or the 80s?
It's the 80s. Yeah, it is.
Right, okay.
It's the 80s. It's in France, I'm pretty certain. I believe it's France. I'm pretty 100% sure.
It might be Paris.
If I'm wrong. Yeah. Pretty sure it's France. And you're playing as BJ Blazkowicz's 2 twin daughters that they've never mentioned in the games. Obviously, BJ has a significant other, you know. And okay, so I'm going to get to a side point after this. But overall, I'm just happy that we're getting more Wolfenstein. I love Wolfenstein. I love the universe. I adore those games. They're very, very fun to play. And they also announced that it will also be out. But since you're playing the story of his 2 daughters, it's also going to be co-op. So they didn't show any gameplay. They just showed like a really cool trailer, and it's coming out in 2019. A little bit far out for me. I would have liked to have it this year. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good.
the 2019 date just tells me that it's going to be a significant chunk of game.
Oh,
especially because it's $30.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, that as well. So you're gonna wait, but it's gonna be worth it. So it's all good. Yeah, hopefully early 2019, but doesn't matter. It's gonna be substantial. It's all good. Now for the Wolfenstein fans here that are watching and that are listening here, right? So this is where I'm gonna have a little bit of like, okay, how, right? Because I don't know if you played Wolfenstein 2. Did you play Wolfenstein 2?
I played the first one.
Okay. So I'm gonna spoil Wolfenstein 2 if you will allow me to, real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not the biggest deal. I mean, it's kind of a big deal a little bit. Not really. So any people watching, listening, I'm about to spoil a part of Wolfenstein 2. Spoiler alert.
A spoiler tag until you're done.
Spoiler alert for Wolfenstein 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start right now. Okay, so within Wolfenstein 2, you get decapitated, right? And so you actually die, right? But the plan with your wife and friends and well, not wife, but your girlfriend, significant other, and friends and company, whatever, they catch your beheaded head as it's falling, and then hook it up to a like oxygen type of machine, and the brain was able to survive, right? So you survive, and you get this new like metal body. So essentially, from the neck down, he has a prosthetic Nazi-built body.
Badass.
Right? Yeah, it's cool. It was a very out there moment in the game. Super way out there. I totally did not expect it, right? But so now I'm thinking like, wait, what are the logistics here of him having a kid?
Wait.
Obviously I'm probably reading far into it, but
Was it? I thought in the trailer for Wolfenstein 2, it said that his girlfriend was pregnant.
Oh my god.
I think that was a plot point.
Oh my god. Wait.
Yeah. No, because
I think you're right.
in the trailer, he came out of the coma,
you
and he
are
was
right.
and Anya.
Oh
and
my
Anya.
gosh. Wow. All right, I'm going to resign. I'm going to resign from.
All right, so I'll take the spoiler tag down now.
My position.
But yeah, so Kevin forgot that BJ, in fact, does have kids, or at least they are on the way in the timeline.
They're on the way. Wow. Okay. All right. Good job, Kevin. Good job.
So yeah, it's great. Cool setup, though.
Grade A. Wow, great A. And also a little side note about Wolfenstein 2. So when I traded in my base PS4 to get my PS4 Pro, I forgot that Wolfenstein 2 was in my base PS4. So when I traded in, I didn't realize it for like a week after. And then like I was sitting at my desk, I'm like, like where's Wolfenstein 2? And I'm like, oh yeah, like it's in my PS4, whatever. And so I'm like, wait a minute. Oh no, I made a mistake. So I called them and I was like, hey, I just traded in a PS4 a few days ago. They're like, oh yeah, like I remember you. I'm like, yeah, I traded in for a Pro. I left Wolfenstein 2 in there. They're like, oh man, and I'm like, yeah. So that's how I lost my copy of Wolfenstein 2. Side note.
That's rough.
But beside the fact, apologies for me forgetting about the pregnant part. But shout out to the DLC. Yeah, it looked cool. Can't wait. What's your next game? What's your next game before I horribly embarrass myself in game knowledge? God.
So, next game, big fan of the franchise. Was big fan in like middle school, early high school. Played a lot of the games. Fell off over the last few years, but I'm back in, and that is for Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
There we go.
I know you played Origins, and you liked Origins. Yeah,
adored it. So
one of my friends has also told me that Origins is very good. I dig the Egypt setting. The things they showed off for Origins didn't seem like as big of a departure from the typical formula that I wanted. But, man, Odyssey looks like they took everything, they stepped up with Origins, and then even went further away with it, and I'm way down for it.
100% down. I'm 100%. And, like, just from me looking at Odyssey, right? So first, let's just walk this through, right? So when I first heard, and when it first was leaked, because you can't have an AC game without getting leaked.
They got so close this year. That's what
they were. Honestly, they were really close. They were really close. So honestly, shout out to Ubisoft. They were very, very close at not leaking their game, but it did. And initially I was, oh man, like kind of worried because I thought we were gonna step away from the annualized AC, right? From when they said
I was too.
Yeah. So then now I heard about this new game.
Because I still wanted to play Origins.
Yeah. And so I heard about Odyssey and I'm like, oh man, like we're gonna go back to like the same carbon copy, you know. And I was like, oh man. But then after they showed what they showed and that there's a lot of departures now, there's conversation trees and stuff like that. You can, you know, choose your gender, which obviously isn't new in the AC series with that other.
It's new as in you can play the entire game as them.
Wasn't the other Assassin's Creed game? What am I thinking of? The one that was on PS3.
Syndicate was alternating between.
Okay.
I guess this is the first console game where you can be a female assassin the entire time, but this is definitely the first one where you can pick male or female assassin and play the entire game as them. Because the PS Vita game was the female assassin.
Yeah, that was a great game. Side note, very, very, very good for the Vita. Shout out to the Vita. Long live the Vita. But overall, right? So it looked great. I'm excited for it, and you know, after when it was all said and done, looking at the gameplay, it looked a lot like Origins. To be frank, right? It looked a lot like Origins. But then in my head, I'm like, well, look, right? I loved Origins, so am I gonna really be that mad to get a little bit more of a Origins-esque Assassin's Creed? Not really. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm down. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
What really impressed me, I think, was the scope of this, the colors. It looked just really gorgeous. It looked like there was a point in the trailer that made my jaw drop, literally, and I was like, oh my god, I was like saying that out loud. Because, first of all, I'm really interested in this time period. I took a Greek mythology class at college last semester. Always been very interested in that time era.
Right.
And seeing Assassin's Creed go there is really cool because I always loved Assassin's Creed. I've wanted to be getting back into it. The combat looks like it's more polished than it was in Origins from what I saw. It looks more improved.
I'll say that too.
I like the customization options. I know Origins had that, but this looks like it's more in-depth, especially all the RPG elements look like they're more in-depth. But yeah, everything they showed about like the character options, the dialogue trees, and the moment I was talking about that really blew me away was when they cut to Cassandra going with those two NPCs to fight on the beach. Jaw dropped. Yeah. Oh my god.
That like massive fight.
That massive fight on the beach was insane. It looked so good. All the characters on there, the animations looked great. Yeah. Everything about that visually was incredible. The combat looked like it was awesome. And I'm really interested in it. This is definitely a day one pickup for me.
Yeah.
It might, like, Spider-Man and this, I think I'm getting a pro by the fall.
Oh my god, dude, you have to get a pro. Bro, okay, hold up. You have to get a pro before... you have to get a pro. That's all I gotta say. But what I will say to comment on the fight that you're talking about, the one like on the beach, it was impressive to me because of how many, you know, NPCs they had fighting at the same time, and it didn't look like garbage. It looked like it was, you know, like it looked awesome, right? Like it looked amazing. Like it wasn't like it was like, you know, you had multiples of the same person that you know, like with the same art style and the same clothing, whatever. Like it looked very, very good overall. And like there was even a section where I think it was Cassandra. Like I think it was the person that you were playing as her. I think there was a moment where like she knocked off someone's shield, and the shield reacted to its surroundings and environment, and it was like wobbling and everything, and it like fell in like very realistic way as opposed to like a traditional shield that would fall in like any other game, you know, that I'm aware of, you know what I'm saying, that would just fall to the ground, just plump and like a preset and then just like fade away to save memory. But like that was really cool as well I saw. Overall, like with Odyssey, it looks like it's taking the best things out of Origins, making them better and expanding upon them, and then putting in new stuff that we haven't seen before. So to me, it's like, okay, it is a year after Origins, but it's looking like they are definitely improving it in a lot of ways and not just, doing a carbon copy.
Worth mentioning, this game has been in development for 3 years at this point.
Which that is, I read about it too. That's also crazy to think about too. That's also crazy, yeah. And like, part of me also believes that because there's a lot of architecture that we saw in Odyssey that is pretty much, I would say, 90% the same as Origins, right? Like, because there are some sections in Origins, minor spoiler, I guess, not really, but there's just architecture that looks very Greek-like, you know what I'm saying? So, so like, there was definitely a lot of that I saw, like, just like certain parts of Origins that I'm like, oh, okay, like, that building was from Origins or whatever. Not the same area, but the same architecture, right? So, like, I'm sure they reused some assets here and there. The menus look the same as well, UI and everything. But, hey, that's not really a bad thing in my book. I think it's awesome, so I'm down.
Yeah, it looks great, and I don't think I'm going to play Origins, at least anytime soon now, just so I don't get burnt out on Assassin's Creed. But, yeah, I can't wait. This really blew me away, that demonstration. So,
but
I will play Origins eventually, because I like that setting, but I don't want to this close to the new one.
I mean, I get you not wanting to play Origins right now because of the type of game, like, you might feel, like, fatigued, right? Playing two massive RPGs back to back, but Bayek from Origins, oh man,
yeah, seems like a cool character.
He's such a good character.
I hope we get a follow up for him. I've heard lots of good things about him.
Yeah, Bayek is amazing. But let's move on a little bit. We went on a little bit of tangent for Assassin's Creed. I'm sure we could talk a lot more about Assassin's Creed, but I want to turn the tides over to Anthem, a game that you were a little bit not too hot about, and I really want to know a recap after we saw what we saw out of Anthem. Right, and I thought it deserved a spot to be mentioned here in the Anthem. I know you are very different of the opinion, but here's what I'll say. Right, Anthem, based off of the gameplay, it didn't wow me as I thought it would. Right, it was still cool to see. Everything looked awesome. I liked how they have damage popping on screen. I think that was also shown last year, but it was a little bit more prominent. And like the damage numbers just seemed to pop a little bit more as opposed to last year's trailer. I think that was a change they made. Yeah. So like, that's a meme now too. But yeah, it looked really cool. And then they detailed your 3 different javelins, which are essentially your suits, and then like your classes as well. I mean, I'm sorry,
really
4.
Weird. Really weird. They only showcased 2 of them. There were moments in the conference.
Show them in gameplay? Yeah.
No, because they showed some in gameplay, but there were moments in the conference they were like, this is the Ranger, this is the Colossus. Moving on. It's like, you're not going to talk about the other 2? Okay. But continue.
Right. Yeah, like, they, like, first named them all, and then, like, they went into depth on 2, and then not the other 2. Yeah, I feel you, yeah. So it's Ranger, Colossus, Interceptor, and Storm. They all have different classes that adapt to a different playstyle. So obviously, I think it was the Colossus that's kind of like the heavy class, if you will. Ranger's probably like the run-of-the-mill. Yeah, like Ranger's probably just like the run-of-the-mill soldier. Storm looked like it had really cool abilities that were, more of like, think of a character in a, in like a Borderlands game, for example, that has like
Destiny.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Or like a Warlock as well. That's kind of like what that was. Interceptor, I totally forgot. Maybe the Sniper class. I don't know. I totally forgot what that was.
I think about. Interceptor was like crowd control or something.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So they showed off that you can change the look of the javelin, obviously, but the same, the physical appearance would stay the same. Just obviously, you could change the style of how it looks and everything. They said no loot boxes. The cosmetics are going to be direct purchase, which is really good. It's obviously not ideal, right? But I would take that over. Yeah.
The biggest thing for me as a takeaway from Anthem wasn't really anything they showed off in the conference. It was really a lot of the stuff that came out afterwards, like talking about how they are sort of focusing on a single-player game that has multiplayer features, something like a Monster Hunter, really. Where you have your own world in that game that you can bring your friends into to help you out, which moved the needle for me a little bit. I still think it looks like generic sci-fi 101, and like the story they were talking about, it's like, oh, the gods left behind this ancient machinery. It's like, okay, when have we never seen that done in a video game ever? Horizon did it. Horizon did that, and Horizon did it so well, and I doubt they're going to be able to top Horizon.
Yeah, I was hearing them talk about the story during the conference, and I'm just not gonna write this down. Like, this sounds like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this doesn't seem interesting.
Do you want to know the story, everybody? I can probably tell you right now.
Go ahead, dog. Go ahead.
All right, so
PlayStation Source exclusive right here. You're the
freelancer. You're the freelancer. You're going through the game. Something happens. You find something in a cavern that changes your whole perspective. Instead of like, up until this point, I'm a merc. I'm going in. I'm going for the money. I'm going for the thrill, the hunt. Oh, wow. I have to do something to save humanity. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, look, the gods were really aliens. We have a new planet. Anthem 2 is going to be on some other planet. The end.
If that's really what it is. I know that's very
vague, so that can very well happen pretty much to a T, but, like, God.
No, I mean, you know, obviously
there's... Right now. I know I'm very negative on it right now. I liked some of the stuff I saw. I think it had a better showing this year than it did last year. Mm-hmm. If I do get that game, and it is... So, what really convinced me, I guess, was the dedication that Casey Hudson was talking about to really trying to make a good single-player game, which sort of calmed my fears a little bit instead of it being a Destiny clone. Because I really dig having the whole, like, you're in your own world that you can bring your friends into, and you all get your progress carried over in a shared space. So that's cool. I'm still looking for that Destiny replacement, but I really liked the Colossus gameplay. Really dug everything he was doing. Especially he dropped that shield down and then like went straight through that cavern to clear out all the mines and blow them up for everybody. That was sick. But yeah, it was like a week ago when we were talking about it. I probably could have predicted that gameplay trailer ends with I think I was like, oh, big thing at the end, hard cut Anthem, like oh.
Yeah. So now at least, which this might sound a little bit negative, but after seeing Anthem, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, you know, and then I feel like it's also probably worthy to bring up the date, which, you know, I guess Red Dead 2 really makes a lot of, you know, obviously this game wasn't ready
to move
for
Red
November.
Dead to February of next year and see what.
Yes. That's what I want to. That'd be so fun. I want it like as a joke.
In October now.
I want to just say it like as a joke. Yeah. Just like put up like a fake blog post, you know, being like, hey, we're going to move to February 22nd, you know, and then just as a joke for an hour, you know, just something. It's going to be really funny. But this game is also launching around, launching February 22nd, supposedly. Will it hit that date? Maybe. I don't know. Actually, I don't think it'll hit that date, right? Is that I feel, okay, if this is Anthem's last E3, right? Technically, right? Of course, we have other, places events that it can, like come up in and show. Yeah, there's other chances, but, you know, I feel like you kind of want to make a big splash at E3. And I feel like they did, you know what I'm saying, for like what it was. But I don't think it was the type of splash for a last E3, right? Because they were showing, and I know like we have a different opinion on this, but like there was a lot of artwork shown by Anthem, and they started off by like, you know, and so that was like, hey, wait a minute, like it's cool that you're talking about it, and like because it was really cool how they brought out all the devs and they were like, you know, detailing stuff that we were curious about and talking about it in a more kind of, you know, not playing it on stage, but kind of walking us through it, right? Like it was very, very cool, right? But for them to show us artwork and like screenshots rather than more video, you know, and more gameplay, I was like, oh man, like that's okay. Like,
Anthem is pretty far out, but you know what isn't far out?
What isn't far out? What is not far out?
Spider-Man.
There we go. Yeah.
So Spider-Man's my next game. I don't have much to talk about it because it's right around the corner pretty much. I was sold so hard on this game
from the second I saw the announcement, and I'm even more sold now. I thought the demo they showed with the raft, I bet that's the beginning of the game. Like all the supervillains break out.
It
and
seems
then
like the beginning. It seems like the beginning.
Trying to catch him. There's really no point in speculating who that last dude was at the end. I saw some people say Doc Ock, so that's like the classic Sinister Six pretty much. I saw people say Venom because of some of the sound effects. I think, I'm just going to throw this out there, we don't have to talk about it, but I think because of the way he reacted, he looked so surprised to see whoever that was there, and the fact that they didn't show it makes me think it's not someone obvious like Doc Ock or Green Goblin. I think they're going to throw a twist, and since this is their own world, this is their own unique version of Marvel, I think we might get a rogue Iron Man who's pissed off at Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Because think about it, the light showed up, right? Spider-Man was like, wait, you? Like, he was so surprised. So I feel like it's going to be someone we're used to Spider-Man being, like, buddies with. Just that's what I came across as. But
Now, to kill that dream would have been cool. But it's been confirmed that the person at the end of the trailer that we don't get to see, it is another villain. It's not anyone else. Yeah, because like a lot of people
Knight was an original character.
Yeah, I mean, like
I'll buy
a lot of
it
people
when I see it.
A lot of people also and like I thought as well, like even in my PlayStation recap video that I made for the conference, a lot of people were saying in the chat, and I thought immediately, I'm like, holy crap, is that Miles in the Ultimate Spider-Man
when he was getting
suit?
beaten up, I thought it was going to be Miles coming to like help him out.
Yeah, oh my god, dude. Oh, that would have been so lit. But
yeah, like, and the teaser.
That would have been hype.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Spider-Man overall, not shown in the conference, though. There was some open world gameplay, which is what I really wanted to see. Looks so satisfying, looks like it plays so well. Very fluid. You really feel the power of Spider-Man from everything I've been reading and watching. So, Spider-Man, day one purchase for me, the easiest day one purchase of anything ever.
Absolutely, 100%. It looked great. And, like, for me personally, I was already sold in the game. I didn't need to see any more. It was, I'm like glad we saw more of it, but I didn't need to see more. I'm sold. Just same as you.
Right. I didn't need to see more outside of the open world, but seeing more villains was good for me. I liked seeing that.
Yeah. Overall, good. Very good stuff. Another game that I think is a day one purchase for you too. I know it is for me, but I think it might be for you as well. Maybe I'm not sure. Talking about Division 2, it was shown at Ubisoft's conference.
And Xbox.
And Xbox. I'm sorry. Yes. First at Xbox, but more fleshed out at Ubisoft, which I'll be more leaning on. Is the Ubisoft showing of it. So overall, I mean, I played Division 1. I liked it. I didn't finish it. I fell off it. You know, for reasons that are the game's fault, admittedly, at, some points. But a lot of it was just because of other stuff. But overall, I liked my time on Division, right? So having a little bit more of Division 2 seems awesome. Just to quickly go over some points, because I know we're like running a little bit long here. But the game takes place 6 months after the first one. And why I bring it up is because they made a point that, like, the virus that was initially on Black Friday that caused the whole Division 1 game to happen, the virus has since burned itself out, right? So the main threat isn't the virus in this one, which is like a really cool angle as well, because I'm like, I never figured that we have an epidemic, and like there is a time where it's just not as strong, like it just burns out. You know what I'm saying? So I think like that was really cool. That just hasn't been explored a lot in other games, so I thought that was really cool to bring up as well. Super cool CG trailer and everything. So obviously, the main threat is more of between human and human. You know what I'm saying? Like the what's left of the world, that hasn't been affected by the virus. Like how that's the main threat, right? So they announced that.
I think the coolest thing coming from the Division 2 was their commitment to their players that they showed off. As a burned Destiny player, and I feel like you are too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool the way they were talking about their end game and how much they're prioritizing that. How Division 2 is getting raids now. There's going to be 3 content expansions that are free for everybody.
Yep.
And you get...
It's eight it's 8 people as well on the raids. 8 player raids is really big.
And you
that seems awesome.
You get endgame classes as a good like achievement point to strive for. So I think they're doing what they should have been doing, what they had to do, what Anthem I assumed was going to do, and that is sway burned people from Destiny onto their side, because I don't know if I'm going to get into the Division 2. I'm more interested now than I ever have been, based on everything they said, having been, again, burned by Destiny 2. But, Division 2 showed well, for sure.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, also, it's in D.C. It's not in New York again. It's in
cool
Washington, D.C. That's really cool. There's a beta. I signed up for it on spot during the conference. Coming out March 15th. I feel it's a great date for that one. Hopefully, that date sticks and Anthem moves. That way we don't have 2 massive, online games that we all kind of want to play. I don't know about you, but kind of want to play not so close to each other. So I'm hoping that Anthem gets actually pushed to May. I like that May date for Anthem.
Yeah, I feel like Division sticks. Ubisoft usually has been putting a game out in March the past few years, so I feel like that's a solid spot.
Yeah, I really like that spot. And I just thought it was great. It was a great showing. Really cool gameplay. They made a lot of gameplay changes as well that I'm not going to list. But good stuff. Very, very good. I like that a lot. I was a fan. What is your last game, good sir?
So my last game was something that I was expecting to see. Was really cool to see. I don't have much to say on it since I'm not well versed in this game, but that is Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Very good.
Again, visually looked incredible, using the Resident Evil engine, very versatile engine, obviously. And yeah, I think it was really cool to see. I was happy for all the Resident Evil 2 fans finally getting to see this game. I like Resident Evil a lot. I never really had an easy way to jump into Resident Evil 2 or 3, so I'm looking forward to this. And it's landing in January, which is basically the Capcom month now. So
that's because RE7 was January as well.
Yeah, and so was Monster Hunter last year.
Oh crap! Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Or this year, actually.
Yeah. This year, This year, for sure.
But Resident Evil 2, definitely checking that out.
Good stuff. Yeah, for me, I kind of have the same opinion as well. Not the biggest Resident Evil fan, you know what I'm saying? But in the same vein as I saw Kingdom Hearts people freak out over Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff, really cool to see Resident Evil people freak out over it as well. So definitely cool to see that. And it's also kind of a I mean, it was good. It was nice. You know what I'm saying? It didn't light me on fire and everything. It's a really cool trailer and everything. But overall, super, super cool moment during the press conference for PlayStation. So definitely, that was a good moment. It's good.
Yeah, highlight of the show, or one of the highlights of the show for me.
Overall, I mean, you know what? This was a really good E3. It was really good. There was, obviously there were some weird moments like with PlayStation's, beginning of their conference and everything. And I feel like we might need to have a whole discussion about the things that we didn't see I
feel like that'll be E3. A good episode 3
conversation. Yeah, because I know we have a lot to talk about, stuff that we thought was going to happen or thought was going to be there and definitely was not.
And we're still learning things the rest of this week as the show goes on.
It was a good show. It was a good year.
Very solid show. I can feel the next gen coming. We got lots of cool things. Good year for games coming up. So, Kevin, thank you for joining me and talking about E3. I love talking E3. We're going to be talking E3 again next week, probably.
Yes, we are.
Where can all the subs find you?
They can find me at the KDS123 on Twitter. It'll be linked in the description, I'm pretty sure. And you can check me around. And Lower Third. And you can check me around the channel. I post a lot on PS4, so definitely I'm definitely around. But mainly, if you want to catch me and my personal antics, definitely on Twitter. That's where you can reach me the quickest. So.
Yes, and you can find me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. It's spelt how it sounds. And yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed E3. Be sure to comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the conferences. Were you disappointed? Were you satisfied? And what were your favorite things you saw this past week at E3 2018? But with all that being said, thank you for listening. Greatness awaits, and we'll see you next time.